The most shocking heists in history. There is something wonderful about a heist, especially a great caper orchestrated by a so-called mastermind and with a squad of shady crooks arranging an impossible break into a location. Real-life jobs can provide just as much satisfaction as their fictitious counterparts in Hollywood films, which often have intricate plots, treachery, and high levels of drama. Number 7. The heist of the century involving diamonds in Belgium. The heist at the Antwerp World Diamond Center is considered to be one of the most complex and well-planned in history. The thieves broke into a vault that was 2 levels underground and covered by no fewer than 10 layers of security. In the year 2000, Leonardo Notarbartolo moved into an apartment near the center while pretending to be a diamond dealer. This allowed him to keep his cover. After 3 years, Notarbartolo's group was successful in stealing diamonds and gold worth a total of $100 million without setting off any of the 63 security cameras. It was subsequently determined that Notarbartolo is involved in the crime thanks to rubbish collected along the road and DNA detected on a sandwich. At the age of 51, he was given a prison sentence of 10 years. A significant portion of the diamonds was never located. Number 6. Daydreaming of sunny California. The heist at Dunbar appeared like it would be the ideal crime to commit. The gang possessed not only blueprints but also confidential information and even a key. A party was held in Long Beach, California, one evening in 1997, and 6 different men were there. After establishing their alibi, the men hid their identities by dressing in all black and donning masks. Their leased van drove in the direction of the Dunbar Armored Truck Facility in Los Angeles. They opened the side door of the depot using the key, and they waited in ambush for the night shift guards in the cafeteria when they came in for their breaks. The men adjusted the timing of the security cameras so that they would not be caught, and then they loaded the van with $19 million in cash. The criminals attempted to conceal their activities by laundering the money through real estate transactions. Nevertheless, they were eventually caught because one of the men gave a wad of cash wrapped with a Dunbar seal to a real estate agent. Alan Pace, a former security officer at Dunbar, was handed a prison term of 24 years. There is still a shortfall of about $10 million. Number 5. The most heinous theft of this millennium. Fireworks and a diamond display were part of London's celebrations for the turn of the century at the city's brand new Millennium Dome Exposition Facility, which is located on the Thames River. The magnificent 203-carat diamond known as the Millennium Star served as the highlight of the event. When a gang decided to plan a break-in and robbery, it was not completely unexpected that they would do it. The strategy called for breaking into the dome with a bulldozer, smashing the cases containing the diamonds with a sledgehammer, and then making their getaway in a speedboat while it was still daylight. Scotland Yard was given information, but they were unsure when they would receive it. Thus, 200 officers pretended to be staff members and cleaners while concealing their firearms in trash bags. There were still several more hanging around the river. When the bulldozer ultimately crashed into the dome, the majority of the gang was taken into custody by the police immediately after the incident. 2 of them were taken into custody on the river, while several more were found at a safe house. After being criticized by the media for being nothing more than a government-built white elephant, the dome was finally able to live up to its self-styled billing by giving one great day. Number 4. The robberies of Harry Winston's jewelry. The heists of 2 Harry Winston jewelry stores in Paris are considered to be among the most lucrative in history. In 2007, 4 individuals posing as painters successfully carried out a daylight theft of $37 million worth of jewelry. After 1 year, in 2009, 4 men walked into the same jewelry shop. 3 of the guys, who were referred to as the Pink Panthers by the media, disguised themselves as women by donning wigs and clothes. In the space of 20 minutes, they were able to steal 104 watches and 297 pieces of jewelry with a combined worth of $73 million. Moulaud Jenned, who worked as a security guard for Harry Winston, was one of the 8 individuals who were ultimately found guilty. He had locked up the night before the first heist, when the painters were let in, and the footage from the security camera showed that he moved around freely during the 2008 robbery rather than calling the police. This was shown to be the case. Number 3. Vengeance of the slave wage worker. Philip Noel Johnson worked for Loomis Fargo as an armored car driver for 10 years. During that time, he spent each day planning how he would escape his employment, which paid him $7 per hour. By 1997, the 33-year-old had successfully navigated his way into the annals of history. Instead of spending a night in front of the television, Johnson decided to put one of his co-workers in handcuffs, lock him in the bedroom closet of Johnson's home in Jacksonville, Florida, and leave him there while providing him with a jug of water and some snacks. Jackson abandoned another coworker in North Carolina by tying them up with handcuffs to a tiny tree and then leaving for Mexico. He possessed bogus identification and had been studying Spanish in preparation for the theft, which he had been planning for the previous 5 years. The only issue was that the truckload of cash was too heavy for Johnson to handle, so he hid most of it in North Carolina. 5 months later, when Johnson attempted to re-enter the United States by bus, an American Border Patrol agent became suspicious of him due to his anxiousness. She found out that he had many IDs under different aliases. The total amount that Johnson stole, $18.8 million, was almost entirely recovered, all but $186,000. Number 2. The Hatton Garden Heist. The robbery that took place in Britain's Hatton Garden in 2015 became legendary. The operation was so brazen that it was adapted into multiple movies, including The King of Thieves. A group of elderly criminals got into a safe deposit firm and used an industrial-powered drill to bore through walls that were 50 centimeters, 20 inches, thick to get around the main vault door. They were given the nickname Diamond Weezers because of their collective age. Within a month after the robbery, Scotland Yard had caught Brian Reader, 76, also known as the Master. The Reader had previously been imprisoned for the robbery of a Brinks mat vault, see below. It is thought that 7 individuals took cash and jewels to the value of $20 million. Only $3 million was ever found. Number 1. The gold from the Brinks mat vault in London was stolen. In 1983, 6 masked burglars, including one who was wearing a trilby hat on his balaclava, stormed into the Brinks mat facility located at London's Heathrow Airport and bound the security guards. One of them, Anthony Black, working with the robbers. Their objective was to remove $4 million in cash from the safe. Instead, the burglars came upon 3 tons of gold bullion, which was divided into 7,000 individual gold bars. During just 2 hours, the job developed into the largest gold theft in the history of Great Britain. The men made their getaway in a van that was bending under the weight of $37 million in gold, diamonds, and cash. As they drove away, they wished the security personnel a Merry Christmas. When compared to fencing the gold, stealing it was a simple task. To avoid arousing suspicion due to the high purity of the ingots, the gang had to melt them down and combine the gold with copper and brass. The authorities were able to identify Black and track the gang's money flow in a relatively short amount of time. However, not all of the robbers were caught and convicted, and the majority of the stolen gold has not been recovered. According to reports, one of the criminals gave the names Brinks and Matt to his 2 Rottweiler dogs. What do you think about this video? Do let us know in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this video and want to hear from us again, be sure to hit that subscribe button before you go.